on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to Aggie Softball Hour with Trisha Ford. Brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, welcome to Aggie Softball Hour with Trisha Ford.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station for the season finale of the Aggie Softball Hour. And Matt Simon with you, joined by, as always, by our head coach, Trisha Ford. Season finale already? I know we have games to play, but it just feels like it's how is it already the end of April?
I know. We were talking about this at the beginning of the year. I feel like it gets, it's kind of going at a different pace, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, holy smokes, here we are. Yeah,
April the 26th, and you have 3 home games remaining.
I know. It's kind of Groundhog's Day. I just get up and go to the field and play softball.
You really have to check each day what day of the week it is?
Yeah,
someone needs to tell you about that. 3 games remaining here at Davis Diamond, barring a postseason hosting bid. The Aggies have Missouri coming in this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all at 5 o'clock. Sunday is senior day. We will go over all of the promotions coming up for the fans this weekend at Davis Diamond. And let's just jump right into that. Before we talk about Ole Miss, I know you brought it up in your media availability, the fan support at Davis Diamond, the 12th man this year. It was your first year to experience it, and it seems like you've had an absolute blast with it.
I have. I love this place, honestly, and it's been we're starting to create some traditions, I feel like, in Davis Diamond that I'm really excited about. And I want a feisty, rowdy crowd that, it's hard to win, right? We want to win, and we don't want the other team to be able for it to be nice and comfortable for them. So we've had great crowds all year, and I'm just really excited to continue and to work harder and harder for this program and to keep, leveling it up.
Yeah. All right, so the Aggies enter at 30-17. They're 10-11 in league play, another 30-win season. You know me, I like all my positive notes. I've got a long list of stuff I'll get to here in just a little bit, but a lot of things this program hasn't done in a while. And I know as a coach, this is not where you want it to be, but on the whole, as we kind of look big picture with, coming in and trying to get year one your way, what's your overall thoughts here with 1 weekend to go in the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've, done better than I had anticipated, to be honest with you. I'm usually very honest,
Really?
Sometimes it gets me in trouble. But, I just feel like they have responded really well. They're getting pushed. Trinity Cannon, I mean, how about her? She's just having a heck of a year. And we needed somebody to step up and kind of take those reins. And between her and Julia, that's kind of a nightmare to pitch to. And Rylan Wiggins in conference play, I mean, she's been great. Amari Harper, Koko. So I think all of them have done a little bit better, right, than they did last year and just keep improving their game. So it's been fun. I really have enjoyed coaching them. They're a fun group.
We talked about it, I think, the last time you were here, that it can go one of 2 ways when you take over a program, right? Are you going to get buy-in from the kids that were here in the past, or are they just going to kind of go their own way? And then the ones that are here seem to be all in for this program.
Yeah, Rylan really helped with that, honestly, and Trinity, and Lefty just walked in. Her and I feel like our relationship is really developing, and I enjoy watching her. Like, if you guys watch the game and look at what Emiley Kennedy looked like on the field, let's say in February, March, and now what she's looking like, I mean, she, to me, looks like she owns the field, and I love that. Like, I feel like she's really growing into herself and who she is and her greatness. Like, that was one of the things that, I talked to our pitchers a lot about, is like owning your greatness. And I think she's really starting to develop, and I'm excited. I'm excited for kind of where this program's going.
Look at you complimenting the hitters before you compliment your pitchers.
Coach Harger, yeah. We'll tell him what's my one time.
He's not listening, yeah. But for Emiley, and I have to remind myself every time I'm watching her, and really your whole pitching staff, but she's only a sophomore. I mean, this is only year 2 in college. That's a lot on a young kid's shoulders.
Yeah, and I think we also forget, AI came in and we tinkered with her a little bit, but there's so much film out there, and so it's really hard as a pitcher. I mean, you look at some of the really good pitchers over their careers, they get hit later and later in their careers because there's so much film on them, and you got to kind of reinvent themselves. And I think Emily did a really good job of this year. We added the rise ball. Her changeup has come along a long ways, and we got some more things up our sleeves. We got a couple more years together, so I got to make sure she continues to have different looks. But she's really worked hard.
As you stand in the SEC, and we'll go over it a little bit later, right now you're sitting in 7th place in the league, just one game under 500. This is already 4 games better than the Aggies were last year in the conference standings. And then there's this huge jumble of teams in the middle of this. In fact, as we were looking it up, there's 4 games separate 3rd and 10th. Yeah. In the standings. It's a huge pile in there, but you're right in the mix. You're right under LSU and Alabama. You're right above, Florida. And just the way that this team is kind of taken, you had the one, Georgia was a sweep, I get it, but I felt like, we talked about this last week, like it just Carolina felt different. Outside of the Carolina weekend, this team is coming and throwing punches and competing and fighting with everybody in this league.
Yeah, it's been fun, and that's what that's what I was hired to do, right? It was like figure out a way for us to keep getting better every year, and my goal is to be in that top third, year in, year out. And you're going to have some really good years. You're going to have some years that you may be off, but that's my goal. And I told Ross when I took this job, I said I'm here to win. I'm feisty. We're going to throw punches, and we're going to play the game right, but we're going to play it hard. And so it's just, getting the buy-in from the current student athletes, and then obviously bringing in kids that, really their parents understand that philosophy and buy into it. And we're going to play hard-nosed, blue-collar ball.
Speaking of feisty, and we'll kind of delicately handle this, but this past weekend, probably the first time that maybe another team sort of challenged you guys from the get. And I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about other stuff, but the way that they responded and answered, it's just one weekend, but that could be a huge point of growth for this program, can it?
Absolutely, and we talked about that. We're going to bite back, and at the end of the day, your play is really the ultimate revenge, and so Sunday felt good. But the thing that I talked to them about is that's the fun, though. We were all united as one to beat Ole Miss. We didn't really care whatever was going on, whoever was up to bat, we wanted them to get a hit. We wanted them to win that pitch, and we were all in it together to win that pitch, whether it be offensively or, in the circle. And I think, I talked to them about it. I'm like, that's what fun is. As a coach, what do you guys want? Oh, I want to have fun. I'm like, well, what the heck does that mean? And so to me, winning is fun. That's a lot of fun. And so we kind of had a conversation about that. To me, if I could define fun, is getting in there on the field with your teammates and just grinding it out pitch by pitch and coming out on top. I said, when you're old, you're going to remember that series. It's going to live in your memories forever. And there's just so many things that I'm hoping that we understood from that experience that we can take with us and get better.
Yeah, Star Ferguson, Madison Preston talked to the media today, and Star, you could see the excitement in her voice when she was talking about that. She said maybe the first time since she's been here as a senior that everybody had everybody else's back, and that has to be exciting.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That, you want to talk about secret sauce? That's the secret sauce, and it's just understanding. And honestly, my team last year, we were able to do it. We had some really good, team chemistry, and I think when you start to see bits and pieces of it, and then you can put it together consistently, that's when you have consistent greatness.
And then on the field this last weekend, I thought with the way the series plays out, you don't play well defensively, you pitch okay in the game, and Ole Miss sort of takes a lead, but then you get a big hit from Allie Enright, you take the lead, you're feeling good, you basically give them the lead back, and then the way the game ends on the home run, that Saturday game could go very different. But to drop 4 on them in that first inning and really throw that haymaker, if you're going to win a series, you don't maybe want to get walked off in it, but from a growth standpoint, for them to do that and then completely switch the other direction.
Yeah, I challenged him. I got on him pretty good and just said that's, you guys are going to take everything that's going on from that dugout and we're going to get walked off. Absolutely not. That's not who Aggie Softball, that's not who this team is. And so I just challenged them, what do you want tomorrow to be? And they came out and responded really nicely. And I think the thing that I really loved is on Sunday, they came out, we scored a lot, crooked number again the first inning, and then they just kept going and going and going. And I feel like in some of our other games, we've maybe scored early and then it kind of kind of teeters off. And I thought we did a really good job of just getting after it pitch by pitch, inning by inning. And we went through 4 pitchers, I think. And so that's when that's fun. That's the fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just underway here at the Aggie Softball Hour, Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Coming up a little bit later, we'll hear from Emiley Kennedy. She's in the house. And later on, Cottrill, Koko Wooley will be joining us. And a reminder, the Aggies are home this weekend. Final 3 regular season home games, all at 5 o'clock, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, against the Missouri Tigers. Softball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs and 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fixed today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. We're back at Rudy's in just a little bit. This is the Aggie Softball Hour from Learfield. Whether your team is home or away, T-Mobile has Texas A&M covered from coast to coast. Fans are getting more coverage and incredible value as T-Mobile brings 5G to hometowns across the SEC. Switch now. Make T-Mobile your hometown network. T-Mobile is the sponsor of this weekend series against the Missouri Tigers. 5 o'clock on Friday. That is a Friday night post-game fireworks game at Davis Diamond. Also, it's 50th anniversary Title IX celebration, and it is a 12-man rewards double point event on Friday. On Saturday, A&M cowboy hats. Have you seen? You haven't seen these yet, have you?
No. Well, I've seen a little.
You've got a little
howdy house.
Little sneak preview of it. Yep, little cowboy hats presented by T-Mobile, available for the first 500 fans. They're giving away prints. I don't know if any of you were at the Tennessee series. There was a live artist on the concourse painting. They're going to give away prints for the first 1,000 fans after Saturday's game, and then on Sunday, sunglasses, courtesy T-Mobile for the first 500 fans. And then there's some other ticket special as well. It's also Senior Day. After the game, we will recognize the Aggie seniors and then the managers as well. All of that going on this weekend at Davis Diamond. Back at Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. A bit later here on the Aggie Softball Hour, we'll talk with Emiley Kennedy, also Koko Wooley, and Cottrill will join us. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. We've had a lot of discussions about this. For you, year one in the SEC, as a quote-unquote outsider, but you come from arguably an as good conference in the Pac-12. What's your overall thoughts on the level of competition, the week-to-week grind in this league, and maybe in comparison to the Pac?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty comparable. I think, different years have different, I think it all begins and ends with pitching. And so some conferences have, elite pitching top to bottom, and then some conferences, you have a down year. And I feel like this year, the SEC, there's a lot of, everybody seems to be throwing 68 and up. And you at least have 2 of those horses that can kind of, bring it. So that part is good. I think the one thing that I love about both the SEC and really honestly the Pac is the end goal is OKC, right, at the end of the season. And so I think both, the SEC, what it does is it's preparing us for postseason. And I feel like when you come from this conference, you're really equipped to battle, and you're not afraid of anything or anybody because you've gone through it all. And so for me, I enjoy that. To me, I feel most confident when I know I'm prepared, and I feel like that's what this conference does, is it prepares us for postseason. And that's really what we're doing here, right? We're trying to be in Oklahoma. It's the only time of year you want to be in Oklahoma City. But,
we got some eateries for you. We'll get you taken care of on that one. I'm the foodie on the trip. But, also, too, that non-conference slate that you do prepares you for it. And you've had consistently all year one of the toughest strength of schedules in the entire SEC. Some of that obviously having to do with your league schedule. But the fact that, and I have to look at the poll, Texas might have flipped with Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma, UCLA, Oklahoma State have been bang, 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 1, 2, 3, and you've played all of them along with about 8 or 9 other really tough opponents. And you want to even kind of up that next year, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I think our players have really loved it, to be honest. And that, to me, is exciting. So, like, talking to Rylan Wiggins in particular, she's like, Coach, I've loved our pre-conference schedule. Like, we go out and it's not, we're not beating up on teams that we should be beating up on, but we're really getting challenged. And really, all of these are great opportunities for us to figure out what we need to work on in order to win those high-level games, right? And again, that goes back to where you want to be at the end of the year. So if you continue to practice at a high level, you continue to play opponents at a high level, you hopefully are learning from those, and it's becoming more and more comfortable, and you're just getting better and better and better, and so that's what you want practice to be about, right? And so like if I'm behind Koko at shortstop, I'm pushing her to her limit, because that's only going to help Koko be better, and then that elevates our level of play.
You probably won't be up here when we have them up there. Talk about Koko and what she's had a great year, but these last couple of weeks and what she's done and sort of taken ownership, and she wanted that leadoff spot back, and look what she's done up there.
Yeah, Koko, she lights up a room. I feel like that's the best way to describe her. Like when she,
you just made her blush.
Oh, when she walks in, she just has one of those, I don't know, her smile, her giggle, like her outlook on life. I love, honestly, and I have really enjoyed Koko and we have a connection, honestly, and I have told her that, and she loves to be challenged, and so I tend to obviously go to kids that want to be challenged and coached hard, but here's a fun Koko story. So obviously she started off the year in the leadoff, and then we kind of moved her around, and she's more comfortable, honestly. She said, I'm more comfortable down in the lineup, coach. Like last year, I think she said she hit 6. It doesn't really matter. And, obviously we had some injuries and some things that kind of shook up our top of our lineup, and she sent a text message to Coach Harger and was like, hey, I'm ready for this. I'm loving this. I need to mature. I'm going to get better, and I want to be our leadoff hitter. And I was like, heck yeah. Mm-hmm. That stuff fires me up. And so, and honestly, her next game, she wasn't great in the leadoff. And I love the fact that she kept saying, keep me there. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to work through it. And she has. And I really think you're going to see her develop over these next couple of years. Again, she's only a sophomore, and you're going to see her develop over these next years into being a very dynamic leadoff hitter.
And the offense really can start and finish with that leadoff spot, but ebbs and flows throughout a year, obviously, with your batting average. Obviously, we have the tough weekend at the plate at Carolina. You come back and play Texas State, scuffle a little bit in those first couple innings, and then in that 5th inning, Julia Cottrill hits the grand slam. Koko has a 4-hit day in that game, and that seemed to kind of sparked this offense. From that point forward, they've been
the pitching coach
salty.
Appreciates it.
Yeah, they do.
So she's good. She's tough. I mean, her, Julia, Trin, Rylan, there's a good core of them that are really, I think, from a defensive standpoint, Julia and Koko both needed to mature a bit. And Jules has done it. She's already gone through what Coco's going through, of the frustrations and of really being upset at myself. And I sent Koko some very nice text messages after some games and had some nice conversations with her, but really challenging her, honestly. And she's better than that. And Jules has already gone through it. And so I think the combination of us, I think, is really working well.
Yeah, and then, Julia Cottrill, obviously, we'll talk about her maybe after the segment, but what she's brought to you guys in a veteran leadership role, one of the few players that's gone very deep into the postseason for you all, and really settling in as a transfer and an immediate leader on the team.
Yeah, Jules is, I have a special spot for her. I've known her forever, and here's the thing, Julia has played at the World Series, every year. She's been there, and so she knows what it looks like. She knows how to get there. She knows how to compete. I think, when she's in a more stressful situation, that's when you see Julia really, really come through. She is the definition of clutch. I want her in the box every time with the game on the line, to be honest with you. And Jules sometimes just gets a little excited, and she'll tell you that. She'll be the first one. I think that's what I really appreciate from the Julia Cottrill that I knew with USA Softball and the Julia Cottrill that I know today. She now owns her own ish. And so, she's like, I'm being crazy right now. I was being crazy, and I'm like, yes. And she's like, I'm going to refocus. I'm sorry. I'll be better. The Julia Cottrill that I knew in USA was, young, but she just wouldn't, she didn't have the level of maturity to kind of figure that out. And so it's been really neat to see her growth and just be a little small part of it.
Yeah. All right. We will take a break here on the Aggie Softball Hour. When we return, Emiley Kennedy will join us. We'll talk pitching, because I know that's what you love.
It's the best.
Yeah. That's when we come back here to Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. This is the Aggie Softball Hour from Learfield. While you're cheering on the Ags, let ABC take care of the house. When it comes to making sure your home is safe from rodents, rats, and mice, it's nothing but net with ABC, a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. ABC Home and Commercial Services are specialists for your environment. Welcome back to Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. It's the season finale of the Aggie Softball Hour. Joined with our head coach, Trisha Ford, and joining us on stage here is our sophomore pitcher, Emiley Kennedy, and looks very pumped to be here when we told her that we bring her up here. Thanks for coming to hang out today.
Of course.
We can bribe them with free food. That's usually how
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's how we get them up there. Same thing I kind of asked Trisha at the Open here. How's the season been for you? Just big picture with the team and kind of how things have been going for you all as you kind of with year one in her era.
I think there's been a lot of growth throughout the team, and that we can tell that between last year and this year, it's a completely different ball game. And I just enjoy this year a lot more than I did last year.
Yeah, well, it's year two for you too. I got to think you also have a different coach. I get that part, but from a comfort level, the high school to college transition, I would assume, has to be pretty difficult in almost all phases of life. But now that you've got that out of the way, year two, I mean, you feel like this was one you could really circle as one you could grow a lot?
Yeah, I think when Coach Ford came in, she said we're going to change the way you pitch, and it kind of scared me a little bit. But I think now I'm starting to see the progress in it, and I can tell that it's going to make me a better pitcher in the end. So the freak out was okay.
How early did you realize that she's a little bit crazy and a little bit out there?
I think week 2, week 3, yeah. Yeah,
pretty quick there.
Yeah.
With all her tricks and gadgets and devices. You like that stuff? Do you enjoy the analytic data sort of seeing? Does it help you sort of conceptualize, or are you more of just a get up there and do it type?
I think it helps me to a certain extent, but if I overlook at it, it's not too good. So I have to have limited information.
Yeah, we've had to put a balance with Em because she will sit there and overanalyze, and so we've had to figure out what works best for her and give her a little bit of information, but really kind of set up bullpens that she's just kind of executing the way we need her to execute.
Yeah, and knowing you, watching you pitch all of last year and all of this year, you're whatever I need to do to help the team. And you've been in a bunch of different roles this year. These last 3 or 4 weeks, though, coming out of the bullpen, coming in relief, you just seem to have taken it even to a whole nother level. How much fun has that been, kind of coming out of the pen? And not quite a closer, but you can close a game, almost like a stopper, like we'll put a stop to whatever's going. How much fun have you had doing that?
I love it. I mean, I never thought I would like the relief role, but I feel like I've filled it well, and it suits me pretty well.
What about her growth, Trisha, in the circle? Let's start in the circle, and just what she's done from when you got her in the summer, I guess in the early fall, and what she's been able to do with all the talent she has coming at you from the left side like that.
Yeah, Em is, I like this last, couple of months, I feel like we've really gotten a much deeper connection. Em is somebody that's kind of protective of her space, which is good, honestly, because you don't want to just let anybody in and kind of mess with you. You're left-handed and throw 70, don't mess it up, And so I think what we did is we spent some time talking to each other, getting to know each other, and I was very open about what my plan was, what it looked like, and got to, incorporate kind of what her feeling was. And, she did have some panic moments, and I told her, I said, you're panicking right now. Stop, And here's the thing, she trusted me, though. And I think, her dad is in this business. He obviously is in athletics at the high school, so he deals with parents and players. And I think, honestly, leaning on him, they're really close. And he's been tremendous for me and just very supportive. And so I think there's a lot of things that she just had a lot of people in her ear that were telling her the right stuff. Megan Gibson, another one, in her ear saying, hey, get after it. She's gonna help you get better. And I made her feel uncomfortable. But, that's the thing I told her. I was like, Em, you can't keep doing what you're doing. In order for you to chase greatness, and you have the ability to chase greatness, you got to get uncomfortable. And sometimes that means you get worse before you get better. And I think we hit some of that, where you're like, I'm not doing well. But now, our conversations in the bullpen, we almost don't even complete a sentence. It's like, yeah, you got it? Okay, good. And that I love. She understands what her body's doing. She can feel it. She can make adjustments. I mean, it's been fun.
Let me ask you this as a high school pitcher, and please tell me if I'm an idiot and I'm not right on this, but as I've watched some of the Aggies come through over the years, you throw so hard, you're so good that you can sort of overpower the hitters in high school. When you transition to college, you're getting a different level of hitters, and you can still overpower a fair amount of them, but transitioning to almost like not necessarily throwing, but pitching. Maybe it's a little bit different. How much fun has that been, if that's the case? And you watching your growth mentally of, like trying to outthink the batters. How much have you enjoyed that?
I've loved it. I think this year, like, my accuracy has been a lot better, and I can see a pitch and I know where it's going. And I feel like last year it was kind of hit or miss because the transition was rough for me from high school, because I went to a high school that was overly good and my competition wasn't very. So I didn't really have anyone challenge me, and then I finally got challenged, and I enjoy it.
That's good. Some of the pitching repertoire you've built in, I know the changeup's one of them there that you told us you didn't have when she got here in the fall. Just your development, you had you were kind of working on it a little bit. Your development with some of your pitchers, and have you enjoyed adding some of those weapons to your arsenal?
I have. I think the changeup's a game changer. I think now that I have an off speed, you don't know what's coming at you, so you can't just sit hard.
Yeah. What about her willingness, Trisha, to do that? Because like you said, as a pitcher, you might have a way that you kind of want to do things, but do you almost need to have the success on the field to see it happen to kind of take it and run with it?
Yeah, I started chuckling inside because, so I go, hey, it's our first couple of weeks, like, what's your go-to pitch? Drop ball. And about a week later, I'm like, hey, you're going to be a rise ball pitcher. And so she looked at me and she was like, what? And I'm like, well, look at your swing and miss rates on up in the zone, blah, blah, blah. So, I kind of went over like her data and her information. And I think that if you can present it that way, and I said, listen, if you throw 70 up in the zone, the timing is much tougher to be able to hit that ball than when your ball's low in the zone. You let gravity kind of work for with their bat. And explaining that to Em, she's very smart and she really studies the game. And so she's like, okay, that makes sense. She's like, but how are you going to make me throw a rise ball? I'm like, well, here we go. And so that's been fun. And again, though, I think a lot of her success has to also come from the people in her ears. Like, I can't stress that enough. Her dad, her mom, her other coaches that know me, and then obviously me, like, everybody's in there saying, like, Em, work through this, like, we have faith in you. And I think, Emma is really hard on herself, and that's been another challenge that we've kind of been working through. And I think she's really starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with that. And so I think with having, I always talk about your circle of trust, and, especially in this day and age, and how I feel about social media, of like listening to all that riffraff. I think she does a really good job of listening to the people that matter to her, and then taking that to heart. And then Em works, like Lefty works, and that's not ever to be forgotten. There's been plenty of Mondays where she's out there throwing to the 9-hole, like trying to feel things, trying to figure things out, and that's why she's good. She has all those ingredients.
A couple quick ones before I let you go. Take us off the field a little bit, and your teammates and how close you guys. I mean, it seems to be a pretty close-knit bunch. I see you guys on the road all the time. How much fun have you had playing with this group here, and how excited are you to take this group not only into the weekend but into the postseason?
I think we all love each other. It's like we all have each other's backs, and we know it, and 100% for each other, and it just makes it so much easier to play for each other.
Have you tried to talk Coach Harger and let him pick up a bat again, or is that?
I asked him to hit BP a couple times. He looks at me like I'm crazy.
Is this what's going to happen?
Maybe.
Not if I can have.
Yeah. She might say no.
Risk versus reward is, yeah.
And then this weekend, last regular season home games here. Crowds have been great this year. The fan support has been a lot of fun. What's it mean for you to play at Davis and to call Davis Diamond home?
It's a beautiful stadium. I think that being able to play at Davis every week as a home game is just an honor, and that our stadium's the best, and I know everyone knows that.
Yeah, it's especially when we go on the road, we get to see how lucky I think the Aggies are, for sure. All right, hey, appreciate the time. Congrats, and we will see you Friday for Missouri. All right, Emiley Kennedy, Aggie pitcher, with us here on the Aggie Softball Hour. When we return, buckle up. Julia and Koko coming to hang out up here.
Our pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, this might be a pay-per-view session here in a little bit. We will come back with Julia, Cottrill, Koko Wooley on the Aggie Softball Hour here from Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. Friends at 44 Farms invite you to enjoy their premium all-natural Angus beef by visiting 44steaks.com. 44 Farms, the official beef of Fighting Texas Aggie athletics. Welcome back to the Aggie Softball Hour at Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Again, a reminder, your Aggies are home this weekend, final 3 regular season games as A&M takes on the Missouri Tigers, 5 o'clock on Friday, 5 o'clock on Saturday, 5 o'clock on Sunday, and then A&M is at Houston next Wednesday, and then it's postseason time at the SEC tournament. Joined now on stage by Julia Cottrill and Koko Wooley. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm going to regret this, but I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Julie, is there a little friendly wager going on in the Cottrill house this weekend?
No, there's no wager to be had. We're definitely going to get them this weekend.
I'm telling, like everyone knows what I'm talking about. Julia's dad is an assistant coach at Missouri, so they are going to have a little bit of in between there. Have you played against him ever? Did y'all meet when you were in Florida? Did you meet Oklahoma State?
No, we did not play against him when I was at Florida, but we're going to play him this weekend.
It's going to be a little strange here.
It'll be interesting.
Koko, let's start with you. This weekend at Ole Miss, it just seems like I don't want to make it sound like the team hasn't been playing well all year, but the switch flipped, and we've talked about kind of what was going on that weekend. But how excited are you to take that energy from Saturday and Sunday and bring it into this weekend and then moving forward into the postseason?
I'm super excited. I feel like when I'm in a good mood, everyone's in a good mood. So I just try to make the best of it, stay hyped, and be there for my team.
Coach, we were talking earlier about you kind of wanting that leadership role, that leadoff spot back. You get it back. You know, nothing really went well, honestly, for anyone at Carolina. But after that, you go 4 for 4 against Texas State, and you picked up right where you left off. I remember the point that I realized that Saturday and Sunday might be great is the first pitch of the game on Saturday after getting walked off, bang, right up the middle, base hit. How much fun have you had being back in that spot and the energy you can bring out on the field?
It's super fun. I feel like the first batter sets the tone of the game. So, like, I love to set the tone of the game, and I just felt like it was time for me to step up because, yes, we were winning games, but at the same time, I just felt like the energy wasn't there. So to be able to bring the energy, it's good.
Julie, does she have an off switch at all?
No, she does not, y'all. How she is on the field is how she is all the time.
100 miles an hour all the time.
Yes.
Koko, you were obviously here last year. What's Julia, been like bringing her into the program as a transfer and someone that's had so much experience about how seems like so easily she was able to fit in with you guys?
I could say our team is not the nicest. We're not very nice. And that aspect, she fits in perfectly. And even, like, working hard. Like, she works hard every day. Like, she's going 110 at practice. So I feel like she's picking everyone else up, making us all work hard. So it's all better for the team.
I don't know. I mean, you've been nothing but nice to us. I don't know what she's talking about.
I'm mean when I need to be.
What about you in the transition here? This is stop 3 for you. And I know you and I have had conversations about this. How happy you are to have called this home, this coaching staff, this place, Texas A&M. What's your transition been like to Aggieland?
Yeah, so my first 3 years of college were a little bit rough, for sure. I think just personal stuff and learning how to navigate college softball on top of school and everything like that. And so coming in for my 4th year of college here, I think I have a little bit of experience under my belt and a little bit of an adversity that I've had to get over along my journey. And so when I got here and they were so welcoming and were willing to listen to my story and accept me for who I was, I knew I was at the right place.
And what about being able to play for Coach Ford, Coach Harger, that whole group over there?
It's amazing. I think Coach Harger is very similar to my dad. There's very dry sense of humor, likes to get after us. So I really enjoyed the hitting aspect. And then, Coach Ford is like my mom away from home. So I really appreciate playing for her.
Did you expect maybe when you came in that you would immediately be, I don't know if asked is the right word, but fall into sort of a leadership role just based off experience? Or did you kind of have to think maybe I'd have to feel it out and see how I fit in?
I definitely think when I first got here, it was more of a feel it out. When you've been on as many teams as I have in college, you kind of have to feel it out when you get on a new team and learn your role as you go. And it kind of just so happened we needed a leader. And I feel like while I may have started it, we've had girls really pick up along as we've gone as well. So just because maybe I started in the leadership role, I think we've had, a lot of other upperclassmen, and even Koko, who's a sophomore, really fit into that role as well.
Koko, and I know some of the fans that are here with us today, they come to the games, they see it, the offense that Jeff Harger runs, the aggressiveness, the push the envelope, hey, we may get some runners thrown out, but we're gonna go. How much fun for you and knowing the style of play that you have? How much fun is it to play in that offense?
It's actually very fun. At first, he had to stop me a little bit because I was running through stop signs. I was just being crazy. But I feel like he's taught me to be aggressive and also be smart on the bases. And so that's also very good in every situation. So
you can, I feel like you can sense that from the opponent, right? When you all are taking extra bases, your trail runners are chasing. There was a moment on Sunday where I think it was Trinity scored. Yeah, you scored,
right
and then
behind each other.
Yeah, and then there was a play where the right fielder just kind of held the ball, and Trinity took an extra base.
Yes.
I mean, that can kind of demoralize the opponent, can it?
Yes, it can drain you, and we've been there. But it's better to be on the other side of it.
Julia, I know Coach will get mad at me if I don't bring up pitching because that's what she loves to talk about. As the primary catcher on the team, as the one that's kind of watched these pitchers develop, what's it like catching this pitching staff and some of the benefits that they bring into the circle?
I think the biggest thing that I have experienced is the dynamic of our pitchers. We have so many different arms, whether it's lefty, righty, slow or hard, spinny or, gonna blow it by you. Either way, we have so much to choose from and pick from. Sometimes it's a little hard, going from someone who throws 60 to 73, but it's a part of the game, and I think Coach Ford has done a tremendous job with them.
Have you tried to talk her into letting you throw it? You got anything in the repertoire, in the bullpen, or anything like that?
You mean like throwing
maybe
pitching?
not in the game, but do you work on stuff in there?
I mean, I pitched in high school, but against the SEC, I'm okay.
You're good. You're just going to stick with the bat right there. Koko, for you, how about this group? Same question I asked Emily. Traveling with you guys, seeing you guys all year, you seem to be super close-knit, and you guys really seem to be clicking and gelling. What's it like playing on this team with this group?
I feel like this group wants to win, and when you want to win, it's always fun. And I just feel like we're also, like you said, we're really tight together. Like, on and off the field, I feel like we're all one. And I feel like that helps with playing because we can all trust each other. Like, if your pitcher can trust your fielders, everyone can trust each other, all you can do is win.
And for you as a shortstop, with the consistency in the infield this year, what's it been like to kind of develop and grow, sort of knowing maybe where everyone's going to be already, with Amari at second and Rylan at third and Trinity at short? What's that been like to be able to stick with that consistency?
I feel like we always know where each other is at on the field, because we're always practicing together, we're always playing together. Even plays balls hit off Rylan's glove, I'm there to pick her up because we practice every day, we play every day, we're the only ones out there. So I feel like that helps us a lot too, knowing each other's going to be at the base when we need to be. You can throw it whenever you want. That helps a lot.
Julia, for you, obviously we have 4 regular seasons games left before we hit the postseason. But as the veteran on this group, and any of the returners for A&M have been in the postseason, but you have gone much further than anybody else has on the roster. How much are you looking forward to taking this group into the tournament?
I'm really excited. I think something that got teams I've been on in the past to the postseason is that grit and the willing to fall down 7 times and get back up 8. And I think we've done a good job from that. Every time we've had a tough series or a tough game, we found a way to turn that momentum around in our favor. And so I'm really excited because we're tough. I mean, this weekend we faced some adversity with Ole Miss, and instead of letting it, kind of carry into the next 2 games, we turned the momentum around right then the next day and said, that's not how we're going to play, and we're going to get after it these next 2 days. And so that's what we did. I think that's what it takes in the postseason, is just because maybe your regular season didn't go the way you wanted to, postseason's a whole new season, and it doesn't matter what your record is. And so I'm really excited to go into the postseason with this group.
I did hear before you guys came up that you two and Emily going to be roommates next year.
Oh, yeah.
How's that going to go?
It's going to be interesting. Interesting.
Who do you think will be the messiest in the house?
Her.
Oh, you didn't even argue with that one.
Probably.
Yeah, Julia. Definitely Julia.
100%.
It is organized chaos, okay?
Yeah.
Organized chaos. I know where everything is. It just looks a little messy.
Now, are you kind of a neat freak type, or you're just, you know she'll be way messier?
No, yeah. I'm not a neat freak, but, like, when I feel like it's disgustingly dirty, like I can't move around my room, I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean it. Like, her, she's going to take a little bit. She's going to let her laundry build up a little bit, then she's going to.
Well, I always feel like if it's in your room, right? Like, that's your
as
space.
long as it's not the.
But if it spills out into the den.
What about the locker room?
It's in my little corner over there.
She's got a corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole corner.
So she's taking the extra corner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole corner.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That'd be good. All right, hey guys, congrats on the season so far. I know you guys are looking forward to. Just quickly again, both of you, one more time at Davis Diamond this year against Mizzou, playing in front of the 12th man. What's that been like? Maybe start with you because you haven't played here before in the maroon jersey. That is. What's it been like playing in front of the 12th man this year?
It's amazing. I think every game, whether it's a midweek or a big series, we have a good crowd and people who genuinely like to come out and support us. You can see that after the games. I remember one day after a midweek, I took like an hour and a half to do my recovery after the game, and there were still girls outside waiting to get their ball signed and posters signed. And I think that just goes to show what the 12th man is about, is that they're here for us and to support us, and I think that's awesome. It's been really fun.
And then, Koko, for you, the energy you guys can take from that crowd at Davis Diamond.
Yes, we love our section 103.
109.
109, my bad.
103s makes noise, too.
Yeah, but we love them. I feel like that brings energy to us, like on the field, and even like when people are screaming balls and pitchers on the road throwing balls, that helps us out. It brings us energy. So it's all good.
All right. Appreciate the time, guys, and we'll see you on Friday.
Thank you. Shout out Dax and Grandpa.
All right. That's Koko Wooley and Julia Cottrill. And we will be back to wrap up this edition of the Aggie Softball Hour here from Rudy's Barbecue, 504 Harvey Road, College Station in just a bit. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by Texas A&M University. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of Texas A&M and Learfield. Announcers are provided by Learfield and Texas A&M. Back to wrap up the season finale of the Aggie Softball Hour. Trisha Ford back on stage with us. And Missouri this weekend, the Tigers, they come in a couple of spots behind you in the standings. Maybe you could say fighting for their postseason lives a little bit. I think probably if the season ended today, they're probably in the tournament. But another tough test. There's no rest for the weary in this league, is there?
No, and they're going to give us some fits this weekend. It's going to be good for us, though. We're going to see a lot of different looks. They have really 5 arms that they use pretty consistently. And so that always is just an interesting, problem, I guess, or, hurdle, I guess, because you're going to see some hard and up, and you're going to see some, 63-ish down with change. They have a couple drop ballers. They have a kid that's really what I would call a thumber, so she's, pitches backwards. And then they have a couple firm kids. So I think the biggest thing that we have to do is all of their pitchers tend to leave the ball over the white, and so we got to bang. Like when that ball comes over the white, we got to be able to cash in on those opportunities. And so that's going to be the biggest thing. I think the other thing is putting some pressure on their defense. I think that we can do a good job with that and maybe run a little bit on balls that are hit on the grass and kind of press that a little bit and see what that looks like. So we're always going to play aggressive, but I think those are going to be some of our keys besides, of course, the best, pitching. And if we, pitch and we do our own, we're in every game. I mean, and we have the personnel to be able to do it, to be honest.
Well, and that's, I think, one thing you caused problems with Ole Miss was that they came in as one of the better fielding teams in the SEC, and they didn't necessarily fumble the ball all over, but that pressure, I think, forced them into a couple of miscues that really you were able to cash in on.
Yeah, I think Sunday we forced them into 4 errors, and so, whenever you're able to do that from an offensive standpoint, good things happen. So, we worked on some base running stuff today, for a good hour of just some different things that I think we can take advantage of and review. And so hopefully this weekend it'll pay off.
And then just finally here in the little bit we have left, as you, I guess you got, 4 games, and then the SEC tournament, which is the postseason. But things you would like to see this team hone in, fine-tune a bit on or off the field heading into the NCAA tournament?
I think it's just continuing kind of our path that we've started. I would really like for us, and I've been saying this, for us to put together a really good pitching performance and a really good offensive performance, and then play clean defense. When we play clean defense, we win most of those games, and so that's something that's key. But I really think, we've had some really, really good pitching performances, and we just haven't scored very much. And then we've had some where we've mashed, and our pitching hasn't been what it's capable of being, and we haven't kind of held up our end of the deal. And so, I would love to see, we only give up, a couple runs and then, score 8, and so that's always, I can sleep good at night when we have a 5-run lead going into the 7th. So, but I think they're capable of it, honestly. And that's the thing. Like, when we get ready for postseason, I think that's going to be the last ingredient of us being able to do that consistently.
All right. Well, hey, it's been fun. Let's do it again next year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm up. I'm up for it.
You're in. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here on this edition of the Aggie Softball Hour. And thanks to Austin Rummerfield back in our Jeff City studios, our producer, Kevin Menchow. And again, hope to see everybody out at Davis Diamond this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 o'clock against the Missouri Tigers. This has been the Aggie Softball Hour from Learfield.